I still can't believe the Clippers did this specifically. Before I get into what I'm want to talk about, the Clippers as a team, of course, they have a lot of talent on their team, and it's only, one basketball, as I always say, to go around. But at the same time, I still feel like the Clippers can get more out of, their bench group. In the last couple games, the bench that they put out there, Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, Covington, Powell, those are the main ones that comes off the bench more so if they're not in the starting lineup. I do understand that. Now, of course, between, Amir Coffey and Brandon Boston, that's going to be probably the last spot that somebody might get coming off the bench. But either way, I can't believe that. I still can't believe the Clippers sent Brandon Boston to the G League. Now, I know it happened about 5 or 6 days ago. The last 4 games, he hasn't been playing, things like that. So I was kind of weary about that, wondering why they haven't been giving him any playing time. And there goes your answer there. I can't believe they actually sent him to the G League. And maybe he's not playing up to the level of expectancy of what they think, of where they think he should be at. But I don't really understand what expectancy level they would have of a player like Brandon Boston, because this is like his second year in the league. He's really second or third year in the league. He's really just getting acclimated to the NBA itself, let alone the Clippers. So I don't know really what they expect out of the kid, but I mean, the kid's got a fire to him. He's got a lot of, upside to his game. And I think he's a likable one on the team as well. So to me, and this is one of those situations where I always say an organization has to do good things to get good things to come back to them. When you have a young player like Brandon Boston, yeah, you could send him to the G League and all that stuff, but really, what is the point of sending him there when you need his services, when you see that he can provide some type of offense, some type of spark to your team at times when other guys aren't playing well. Now, I do also understand, but like I said, there's only one basketball, not enough basketballs on the court to go around for everybody to get touches. Brandon Boston, the touches that he got, the very minimal touches he got when he did play, in a few games this season, it wasn't enough. And I feel like a part of the reason why they might have did this was to send him to the G League so he can get some playing time and keep him fresh, keep him ready, keep him going, and keep him ready for when they need him, when they need to pull him back, possibly to maybe help them down the stretch of the season, or maybe in the playoffs. I don't think they will put him in the playoffs, because when you shrink your roster, rosters get shortened in the playoffs. You have your set 8 or 9 guys in the playoffs that you use, for the most part, and that's it. So I don't really see him getting much playing time in the playoffs. I really don't understand. Like I said, unless they're just trying to find a way to keep him warm, keep him ready, and put him in the G League so he can go out there and keep his momentum and his spirits high, playing basketball and everything. That's the only reason why I can see that they send him there, because honestly, he hasn't really logged in a lot of minutes. He averaged like 2.3 minutes per game, this year, and it's just not enough. Matter of fact, he's only averaging like 2 points a game with like 3 or 4 minutes of gameplay. But Amir Coffey is averaging like 8 minutes per game, the games that he's played, and he's averaging the same amount of points, if not a little bit less than Brandon Boston is averaging. So I really don't understand that. Why is Amir Coffey still there then, if he's averaging the same amount of points as Brandon Boston, and they're both one is playing more minutes than the other one. Well, Amir Coffey's playing a few more minutes and averaging the same amount of points as Brandon Boston. I don't understand why Brandon Boston had to go, to the G League. But I mean, it's whatever at this point, because, the Clippers, they're making the best decision for their team, and that's that. But I mean, here's one of those situations where you got a player like him. It's not that Brandon Boston can't develop into what you need him to be. It's the fact that you got so much talent on this team now. He really, doesn't have much room to operate, and that's not his fault. It's not that he's a scrub. It's not that he can't play. When you send somebody to the G League, to me, it should be more for them trying to maybe get some reps in, because they've been injured a while. They don't have no rhythm, and You need to get back to speed as quickly as possible, or you send them to the G League because they're just not cutting as a player, and their skill set is not what you need them to be as a player right now. So you leave them there until, or you just leave them there, period. So me personally, it shouldn't be one of those situations with Brandon Boston. I mean, the kid's got talent. Everybody can see that. They stole him in the draft, and they should be using him a lot more. I mean, like I said, Amir Coffey's good, but there's no way he should be getting more minutes than Brandon Boston. If anything, they should find a way to give them the same amount of minutes. Now, I will say this: Brandon Boston's defense might not be as sound as they think Amir Coffey's defense is. Granted so, but at the same time, he's more talented than Amir Coffey, and he can score just as good or better than Amir Coffey. I think he can do more things, a more versatile type player on the floor, and I feel like that's who the Clippers should look towards, investing their time in. Somebody who's a little bit more versatile, not somebody who is, a very good player, but at the same time, you got a player like Brandon Boston who has more of like an all-around game. You see what I'm saying? Somebody who has more of an all-around game, that's the one that you want to definitely find minutes for, because as he grows and develops, he can actually help in a lot of ways rather than one specific way. So, and Amir Coffey is more like just a scorer. He's not really a passer. He's not really anything else. He can put the ball on the hoop. He can score, and that's fine. But really, the Clippers have enough scoring. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Amir Coffey scoring is going to make the difference of their season and their outcome. I mean, they have enough scoring everywhere. I mean, John Wall, you got Paul George when Kawhi comes back, of course. I mean, they just got scoring everywhere. Norman Powell, Robert Covington. I mean, you Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann. I mean, you're fine. Reggie Jackson. I mean, Nicholas Batum could shoot, still score a little bit. Marcus Morris. I mean, you got pieces, dude. You can't say that you don't have enough in the scoring area. And this is the thing with the Clippers. They have to find a way to stay tight-knit. And to me, Brandon Boston is one of those players that I feel like they need on their roster and sitting on the bench there, to have him come in and be able to, give them some good minutes, because he's one of those, to me, he's your future type player. And this is the one thing I don't like about when organizations do things like this. This is your future player, potential future star for this team. When Kawhi and PG is gone, you can have Brandon Boston there playing at a high level. And, I don't know if he's going to get better in the G League. I really don't, because that competition and NBA competition is way different. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's really going to make him a better player, or anything like that. So I personally don't understand why they sent him. Not unless they sent him so he can get some type of playing time and keep some type of rhythm shooting and scoring wise, because he's not going to get much, if any, playing time with the Clippers. And maybe that's the way they looked at it. I don't know, but either way, they're looking at it wrong. You know what I'm saying? I would find a way to give him more minutes, keep him on the roster, keep him playing with these guys here, because he's only going to get better playing with the best competition. And you have the best of the best competition on your team, in practices and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know what the Clippers are doing with that situation. Maybe he's just not panning out the way they expect. But either way, this team has got to get better. This team has got to, fix their flaws quickly. And this team got to learn they got to find a way to build that chemistry. And they got to all get healthy. That's the main thing, regardless of, at this point, I don't feel like they should send anybody to the G League on their team. Anybody on their roster, you keep them on there and you let them develop how they're supposed to while they're playing on the floor against, Kawhi and PG in practice and all these other guys in practice, and get their physicality up, get their mental up, and get their game to a certain point to where you can trust it more. And this is my problem. You trusted Brandon Boston last year in those games. I mean, you could have sent him to the G League last year and, went with somebody else off the bench, or something like that. But you trusted him last year. You gave him some minutes, you gave him some time, and you saw him play, and you saw him have a few big games for the Clippers, just like you saw Amir Coffey have a few big games for the Clippers. So, I mean, it's more one of those situations where, this was really not needed to me. You don't really need to send nobody to the G League. You need all the help you can get, and you need to keep this group as tight as possible, because there could be a situation in the season where somebody goes down, like a Robert Covington or maybe even a Norman Powell, somebody like that, and you need Brandon Boston to come in there and hoop and play, what I'm saying, feel comfortable with this offense and everything like that. Well, the only way he's gonna feel comfortable with the offense is if he's with the team. not in Ontario somewhere on some G League team where he's getting chemistry with a bunch of guys who's not on his level. He's on an NBA level. So I just think the Clippers are making a mistake with that specifically. That's my personal opinion. I just think, Amir Coffey, all of them should be, with the Clippers. I feel like, Diabate should be getting more minutes, a lot of nights, because as much as they're trying to be precautious with Kawhi Leonard, they need to be precautious with Paul George too. Paul George is injury prone as well. So, there could be some nights where, the Clippers, sit out Paul George for a night or something like that. And Brandon Boston could pick up some of those minutes. Diabate might could pick up a few of those minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can find ways to get this team, acclimated. You can find ways to get everybody some minutes. It's not going to be the minutes they want, of course. I understand that, but it's going to be minutes valuable to this team, and that can help them build, the chemistry that they need so they could be well-rounded as a unit where nobody can stop them. And as I said before, their bench is really good, but their bench would be even stronger with, Brandon Boston being a part of it too, because as I said, he's one of the youngest, if not the youngest on the team, but he has so much talent to where it's games where you look at a player like Terrence Mann who goes out there who plays hella defense, but at times he really doesn't score like that. Well, you can give a counterbalance with a little bit of Terrence Mann in there, swap him out, bring Brandon Boston in, let him give you a little bit of scoring opportunity, and then let Terrence Mann come back in maybe late third, fourth quarter, or early fourth quarter and help have him help finish a game out, something like that. There's always things you can do, and I just feel like Ty Lue is not using all his weapons to the right capacity at this point. Maybe later on in the season to be different. Of course, when Kawhi comes back, that makes a world of difference for everybody. I do understand that, but hopefully they don't send nobody else to the G League, because I don't really feel like sending any of their players to the G League is helping their cause right now. You need all the help and assistance you can get. You're 8-6. You're a couple games above 500. You're not that great of a team. You give up a lot of points. Your defense lags at times, and then there's times where you go through scoring lulls where you're not scoring and you're allowing teams to do what they want, and you're not playing concise on defense, and you're playing a lot of isolation basketball, not a lot of ball movement at times, and you live by the three so much where it helps you in some games where you're just shooting well and you're more superior than the other team, but it doesn't help in games where you play against teams who can adequately do the same thing you can, like the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets went in there and beat the Clippers because they can shoot the three as well. And it's like when the Clippers play more aggressive along with the three, that's what makes the Clippers the most dangerous, not when they just settle for threes the whole time. And when they're up by 30, that's fine. But when they're down by 10 and keep shooting threes and they're struggling from the three-point arc, that's when the Clippers look like one of the worst teams in the league, because they don't recover, or they don't try to recover. They just keep shooting, and they shoot themselves out of games, or shoot themselves in the foot basically, and help other teams beat them by giving them a pass and not being aggressive. So there again, as I said, I don't think nobody on the team right now should be going to the G League. I think everybody there should be a tight-knit group. Like I said, PG could be resting some games, as well. You can throw Brandon Boston there. Diabate can get more minutes. They got enough energy guys. They got enough guys to score and knock out some of these teams. Like they played Houston last night. Paul George didn't really need to play a game like that. They should be able to beat Houston without Paul George. Really, they should be able to. So, that could have been a game Brandon Boston could have played. Amir Coffey could have got more minutes, and Diabate, a few others. You know what I'm saying? It's you got enough talent on your team to give Kawhi and PG some nights off, because both of them are injury prone, and this is a championship season. So Clippers need to keep that in mind, whatever decision they make, and hopefully they make the right decisions going forward. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. Like, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell if you haven't as well. And hey, till next time.